Tansi, Ani, hello. My name is Carol Germa, and my spirit name is Windwalker Woman. I'm of mixed heritage. My mother was English, and my father was Scottish and Plains Cree. My grandfather, Archie Anderson, enfranchised after fighting in the Boer War. So my father and his siblings were not status Indians like their cousins, aunties, and uncles were. They did not live on the reserve and were not required to attend residential school. In 1985, the Indian Act was revised, and after that, my siblings and I attained Indian status and are now citizens of George Gordon First Nation in Saskatchewan. Today I'm going to tell you some of my story about reclaiming my Indigenous heritage, and in particular, why I drum. It was in the mid-1990s that two friends asked if I would like to accompany them to a powwow. They knew that I had Indigenous heritage on my father's side, but that I had grown up in Sudbury with little exposure to Indigenous culture. I said yes, and we headed out to Red Deer Lake, where the Swakamup Friendship Center was holding a powwow. When we got out of the car, we could hear the beating of the drum. That sound was like a magnet pulling me. I could feel it throughout my body. When we reached the clearing, we saw several large drums in the center, with men seated around them, each group taking turns drumming and singing. A few women stood behind and sometimes joined in on the singing. I wondered why only men were drumming, because I felt a real connection and that this was something I might like to do. Every summer after that, I made sure to attend at least one powwow. After I retired, I decided it was time to find out more about my Indigenous heritage, and I took some Native Studies courses at the University of Sudbury. I attended an event at Laurentian University where the Grand Chief of the Assembly of First Nations was speaking. Before he started to speak, a group of women in long skirts and carrying hand drums walked onto the stage. They introduced themselves and proceeded to drum and sing the welcome song to welcome the chief to Sudbury and Laurentian University. Once again, I felt that pull of the drum, and the feeling that I should be drumming was very strong. Shortly after that, a young woman in my class asked if I was interested in attending a drum making workshop. I immediately said yes. My sister Shirley and I attended the workshop that was led by an Anishinaabe elder, Isabel Mewasagi from Serpent River. Isabel provided all the materials that we needed and showed us how to stretch wet deer hide over a round cedar frame and then lace it together at the back. This is one of those drums. You can see the back there. As we worked, she provided teachings about the drum. We learned that women had originally gifted the big drum, also called the grandfather drum, to the men, but that some younger women were beginning to drum at the big drum as well. Both men and women use the hand drum. Women should wear a skirt when drumming or attending a ceremony as a sign of respect. The hand drum is also called a grandmother drum. It is a sacred item and should be treated with respect, as we would treat our grandmother. We also learned that our songs are prayers, and that drumming and singing carry those prayers to the Creator. The beat of the drum connects our heartbeat to the heartbeat of Mother Earth, is another drum teaching. That's a teaching that is printed on the t-shirt I'm wearing today. It explains why I felt the immediate pull of the drum. Shortly after making my drum, I joined the group of Anishinaabe women, the Wabshki Makwa, White Bear Singers, that I had heard singing earlier. Drumming became a very important part of my life, filling something that was missing. I made some good friends and learned more about Indigenous culture from women who had grown up with it. We drummed for joyous occasions like births and weddings, for sad ones like funerals, and to mark important events such as graduation ceremonies, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and the 30th anniversary of the United Church's apology to First Nations peoples. We also drummed and sang for healing when one of our group or someone we knew was in need of physical or emotional support. The drum is a very important part of Indigenous culture and spirituality. You'll now see a video of my sister Shirley Taylor and me drumming and singing the welcome song at the St. Peter's National Indigenous Day service in 2020.
This song was taught to us by Maggie Paul, who is a Passamaquoddy. It was given Anishinaabe words by the late Sarah Ganawabi, who is a longtime member of our group.
Hey, babe, in again. Hey, babe, in again. Hey, babe, in again. Shemmy Quitch, Kabashayan, Kabashayan. Hey, Kabashayan.
Miigwech for listening. Bama P. See you.